Hi, and welcome to the first video of my How to Crochet series. In this stitch tutorial, I'll be showing you how to hold your hook, how to hold your yarn, how to make a slip knot, and how to make a chain. Before we get started, I'm just going to go over our materials. I am going to be using my Boye hook. When you're shopping for a hook, I would recommend that you shop for one that has a rounded tip up here. And this one is made of steel, so it is a little bit heavier, but aluminum works just as fine. For the yarn, I'm using Michael's Impeccable yarn in gold. It is a size 4 medium weight yarn. For beginners, I usually recommend that you start with a size 4 or a larger yarn. Next, we're going to go over the different parts of your hook. First, we have the head of the hook, the neck, the body, the thumb rest, and the handle. I like to teach using the overhand grip. It is what's most natural to me. The other main way to hold your hook is the pencil grip, and then there are many variations of each. But for the overhand grip, we are going to place our thumb on the thumb rest, our index finger on the opposite side, and then we're going to take our remaining 3 fingers and wrap them around the hook. Next, we are going to take our yarn and we're going to make a slip knot. So we'll put our hook down again. We're going to take our yarn and wrap it around this section of our index finger. So from the front to the back, we are going to wrap it once and then a second time. You want to make sure that these loops here are rather loose because you're going to manipulate them. So then we're going to take the back loop, bring it over the front loop onto the top part of our index finger. So once, and then we're going to take the now back loop, take it off of the index finger while keeping this one in place. And then we're going to take our short end and pull it tight. And here we have our slip knot. Then we're going to take our hook, insert it into the loop. To pull it tight, we are going to hold this short end with our thumb and middle finger, or just hold it in place. And then we are going to pull the long end until it is about the size and a half of the body of our crochet hook. Now, to hold our yarn, there are many different ways. The way that I prefer to teach is you grab the working end with your pinky, wrap it around the outside of your fingers like this, then wrap it around your index finger one more time, and then hold it here. Now, when you're grabbing it with the pinky, you are grabbing it very close to the slip knot, and then you're just going to glide your pinky along however you need to in order to create that space. This will get your hand used to how the yarn is supposed to flow on your hand to keep it from getting caught or stuck at any point in time. So one more time, right here at the slip knot, I'm going to grab the yarn with my pinky, turn my wrist, wrap the yarn around the index finger, and then turn my wrist back so that I can hold the slip knot or the short strand with my thumb and middle finger. This right here is about the distance that you want. You want your left hand to be relaxed. If you're having a hard time with yarning over and getting the yarn to travel, the best tip that I have is that after every stitch, you reset your hands. So you're going to make sure that you're holding your hook correctly. You're going to make sure that you're holding your yarn correctly. If at any point in time the tip of your index finger turns an abnormal color of red or purple, rotate your hand and tug on this a little bit so that it's looser here. And then it'll release everything. You don't want to choke your index fingers, basically what I'm trying to say. But now we'll get into the chains. To start our chains, your left middle finger and thumb is always going to be holding your work. So we're going to place it either directly on top of the slip knot or directly below. While you're crocheting also, you always want the head of the hook to either look at you or you want it to look down. And this is where it's important again that you turn your wrist and not the hook between your fingers. Once you get used to that motion, you can do whatever variation of holding your hook that you like. So first we're going to bring the hook down in front of the yarn, then we're going to bring it behind the yarn, turn it down, and the reason you're turning it down is so that it can fit through the teardrop of the loop that is already on your hook. And that's your first chain. Now when you're pulling it back, you want the loop to be on your hook, on the body of your hook, not the neck, and you want the loop to be about the size and a half of the body. It might seem a little loose now. The number one issue that crocheters have is that their beginning chain is too tight, which will make your work appear cinched at the end. So one more time, with the hook facing you, you're going to bring it down in front of the yarn. You're going to yarn over by bringing it behind the yarn, turning your hook so that it catches the yarn, and then feeding it through the loop that is already on your hook. Then you're going to push it back onto the body. Make sure that it is about the size and a half of the body of your hook, and reset your hands. Now at this stage, your index finger might start to become a little choked, which is where you can tug on the index finger up, or if necessary, tug on the yarn back here. So one more time, we're going to bring the hook down in front of the yarn, yarn over, bring it up behind the yarn, turn it down to catch the yarn, and then pull it through the loop. And there we go, we have 3 chains. Now at this point, I would just recommend that you keep going until you feel comfortable with making chains. Now another thing before I keep going is that your thumb and middle finger do not have to stay at the slip knot. They can travel up. As a rule of thumb, I like to travel up every 4th chain depending on the size of my yarn and hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and travel up. While it's traveling, I also like to hold the loop that is on my hook with my index finger. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. We'll just leave it at that. Now that we have our chain completed, I would just want to go over the different parts. So here you have your top loop, your bottom loop, and then on the back here you have a vertical line known as the back loop. You are not going to be working into the back loop unless specified so in the pattern. Most of the time you are going to work into the top loop of each chain. Now the way that you would count your chains and stitches as we later progress is by counting the V's. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In this case, I have 14 chains. And that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know if you have any questions below.